Alright, what's up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, it is time to go over OP-14 Green Dracule Mihawk. That's right guys, we have now gone over 4 of the 7 new leaders in OP-14. We've gone over Crocodile, Gecko, Boa, and Jinbei. Now today we're going to be going over Mihawk, and then eventually Doflamingo and Trafalgar Law, not in any particular order. Okay, so let's do this, guys. Let's get right into it. We got a very interesting leader to go over today. It's kind of a different spin on the Green Zoro leader that came out in OP-12, I believe it was. All right, so the way we're going to be doing today's video, very standard layout. We're going to break down the deck list first. Then we're going to head over to the sim. We got 3 games to go over on the sim, and then we will recap, and I'll tell you guys what I think about this leader moving forward. I will have everything timestamped in the general description, and I'll have all relevant deck lists and links and stuff like that in the comment section below. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comment section below, or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. Today's video is brought to you by Nin Garden. And right now, when you buy any 2 playmats, you can get the non-stitched Sun God playmat for $9.99. On top of that, you can buy any 2 pins to get the 3rd for 50% off. So be sure to use my code, the VV Theory, at the checkout for 10% off of your next order. Alright guys, let's go and break down the deck list for today's video, starting off with the leader. Dracule Mihawk is a 5,000 power, 5 life, mono green, 7 Warlords of the Sea type leader, with the effect, if your opponent's leader has the slash attribute, this leader gains plus 1,000 power. And, activate main, once per turn, you may rest one of your cards. Notice it's not Dawn or characters, it's just any kind of card. You may rest one of your cards if there is a character with a cost of 5 or more. Set up to 3 of your Dawn cards as active. Then, you cannot play character cards from your hand during this turn. Okay, so we're going to run through the entire deck list real quick, guys. Be sure to pause and read each one of these cards if you don't already know what they do. Okay, so we're running 4 Perona, the Searcher, running 4 of the Kikanojo 2K Counter, running 4 of the Blocker Kashiro, running 4 Human Drill, 4 Zoro, this is the Restand Zoro from OP-13, running 2 of the 2K Counter PRB-02 Blocker Zoro, 3 Secret Joribanis, 3 Tashigi, 4 Perona, 3 Trafalgar Law, this is the 6 cost from OP-13, 3 Shanks, 2 Dracule Mihawk, the 8 cost SR from OP-12, 3 of the Secret OP-14 Dracule Mihawk, 3 Dead Man's Game, and 4 Coffin Boat. So guys, in the intro, I think I said that this is kind of like a different spin on Green Zoro, right? Let me bring the leader up real quick and just kind of explain that. So notice this this leader here. Pause and read it if you don't already know what it does. But this is a leader from OP-12 that had a lot to do with standing 3 Dawn, you know, or giving 3 Dawn to your leader because of the Dawn times 3 effect on the leader. Well, Dracule Mihawk is very similar, where you can rest one of your cards, and as long as there's a character with a cost of 5 or more in play, you can set up to 3 of your Dawn cards as active. Now, with that 3 Dawn, you can attach it to your leader, just like how Zoro would want to have 3 Dawn attached to, you know, this leader. You can attach the 3 Dawn to this leader and attack with it. Or you can do other things, right? You can attach 1 Dawn to this character, 1 Dawn to this character, 1 Dawn to this leader, or maybe even place something out like a event or a stage. Okay, so it's actually, it has a little bit more utility than what Zoro's ability has, but it is a little bit more, I would say it's probably geared to be more defensive than Zoro, who's geared to be a bit more aggressive. So I'll say this, if you really enjoyed Green Zoro, you probably will enjoy Mihawk, even though they're a little bit different. They're not the exact same, of course. So we're running, the way that this deck is meant to function, at least in my limited testing, what I've been able to gather with it, is, you know, early on you want to play out a Searcher like Perona. I'm not sure what all Searchers people are running, but I'm just running 4 of this Perona, and I do have ways to pull it back to my hand with Trafalgar Law later in the game. So we're playing this out, searching up green events or characters with slash, and we have quite a few characters with slash in the deck. However, I have to mention something that happened in the stream the other day. Guys, for those who are not aware, I stream every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday here on YouTube. Not on Twitch, on YouTube, from 9 p.m. Eastern to 12 a.m. I do that every single week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So be sure to stop by and hang out. I try to interact with the chat as much as possible. I prioritize communicating and talking with the chat more than doing anything else. Okay, because I like to see where the community's at. And one person made the suggestion, let me get rid of this and type in music. One person made the suggestion to run, actually, okay, that didn't work. Let me just bring up all the green cards and we'll go to the events. Give me 1 second. Because someone was saying maybe you should try the 2-cost event. And at first I thought, I don't know, you know, a lot of decks can't really make this card work. This is the card we're talking about. But then I thought about it, and as it just so happens, this is probably a very good backup play for your leader's effect, right? Because notice, it says, you know, you stand 3 Dawn as active, then you cannot play character cards from your hand during this turn. Well, we can still play events, can't we? Or even the stage. So we have these other options, and this might be a decent searcher to include in the future. Because check this out, guys. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck and reveal 1 card with a cost of 4 or more and add it to your hand. It can be any color card, any type of card. It just has to be a cost of 4 or more. And then the trigger, of course, activates the main. We'll see. You know, I'm not 100% sold on this, but I think there could be some real potential here, especially on a turn where we don't really need to commit anything extra to our leader's attack, and we have the 2 Dawn extra. Okay, well, let's just search for something for next turn and fix our hand a little bit, and then in the later stages of the game, we could do a draw 2 trash one and just get rid of the card with something like a Bonnie. So, you know, there is something, you know, we do have some potential there. I usually save those kind of revisions until after, you know, after the game's on the sim, but I had to mention that real quick before I forgot, because especially when going over the searchers, Perona was nice, but there are some cards that it will miss in the deck. The most important one, at least in my personal opinion, is this card Perona. So this Perona here searches up slash type characters or green events, but it can't search up this card. And this card, in my personal opinion, is just incredible, I have to say. We're going to take a second to read this card and talk about it. This is a Perona. It's a 5-cost, 6,000 power, 1k counter character. So the stat line is completely excellent. And then on play, up to 2 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less cannot be rested until the end of your opponent's next turn. We'll talk about the on KO in a minute. That on play effect can just win you games, because you can use this card as a type of alpha strike if needed. It's almost like a slightly more expensive version of Dead Man's Game. Because remember, guys, Dead Man's Game it costs 4 for the main effect, and it has you may rest 3 of your Dawn, rest up to a total of 2 of your opponent's characters or Dawn cards. Now, yes, this can rest down your opponent's Dawn cards as well. But guys, being able to hit 2 of your opponent's characters that cost 5 or more, 5 or less, a lot of times that's all you need. Now, there are going to be some situations where they have a bigger character than what you can hit with this Perona, and that's fine. It happens, right? But just in general, playing this out early, gaining control of the mid game with a card like this is massive. And then in the late game, you can even use it to get around some of the smaller blockers in the game, the 5-cost and lower blockers, because they can't rest. In order to block, you have to rest the character. It's part of the blocker keyword. Now, we also have an incredible on KO effect. You may rest one of your cards. Okay, it could be a Dawn, it could be the stage, it could be a character or whatever. On KO, you may rest one of your characters. Play up to 1 green character card with a cost of 5 or less from your hand. Okay, so this card ends up replacing itself just by, you know, getting KO'd. So we're also not even scared to lose this card, right? We get to play it out, lock down our opponent's board, and they just start smashing in, and then, okay, but they're about to get rid of our character. Okay, we'll just let it get KO'd, and as long as we have a card to rest down on our opponent's turn, then we can cheat out something like a Jory Bonnie, maybe this is Zoro, maybe another Perona, because it doesn't say that it can't be a card named Perona. And yeah, maybe even this Tashigi. It just has a lot of value. This is probably my favorite. This might be my favorite card in OP-14, guys. I'm not going to lie. This and the yellow Perona. I don't know what it is. They just made Perona so good in this set. The yellow Perona, let me at least put that on the screen for those who might not know what I'm talking about. This card, guys, incredible. Pause and read it if you don't know what it does already. And also you can check out my Black Yellow Gecko Moria video if you really want to see this card in action. But yeah, they just did such an incredible job with OP-14 and Perona in particular in OP-14. So this is the main card here that it really gets you to the late game. And listen to this curve that it puts you on. Okay, if you're stuck going first, we have our turn 1 Searcher. Turn 2, we can play out Human Drill. I didn't even talk about this card. I'll talk about it in just a second. But then it goes, so 1, 3, 5 into Perona, into 7 Shanks, into 9 Dracule Mihawk. And we'll talk about all these cards in just a minute. Just know that if you can hit that curve going first, that would be very solid for you. Now, I will say this, you might not want to go first. I think taking second away from any leader in this current format might be the way to go, okay? So if you can go second, if you win the dice roll, you should probably go second, but it is nice knowing that if we're stuck going first, we have a decent way out of it. Okay, so we got 4 Peronas for the early game or 4 Coffin Boat. This card on play, if your leader's Mihawk, draw a card, and at the end of your turn, if your leader's Mihawk, Stand of Dawn is active. These are your turn 1 plays, and there is a backup turn 1 play going first with Kikinojo, and going second with Kashiro. Kashiro, hopefully everyone knows what this card does by now. This came out in OP-12. We're looking at OP-14, but pause and read it if you don't know what it does. But this Kikinojo, end of your turn, set this character as active. That is a big deal because what it's going to allow you to do is rest down this character, at some point in the game. When there's a character with a cost of 5 or more in play, you can just rest down this Kikinojo to stand 3 Dawn as active, and then at the end of your turn, it will stand itself back up. And this is another really cheap target we can play out at whatever point in the game, and then get it right back with this 6-cost Trafalgar Law back to our hand, and it's a 2K counter, and it's /searchable. Okay, so Kashiro, we looked at that. Now going into the 3 and 4 Dawn turn, our turn 2. If we're going first, we have Human Drill. This is another 2K counter, 3-cost 4K / character with a 2K counter. Like I said, your turn, when this character is rested, rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. So, in other words, we can rest this card, as soon as we play it, we can rest it with our leader's effect, and then, potentially Stand Dawn as active, but then we can shut down one of our opponent's characters, tapping them down if they cost 4 or less, and going from there. That could help us set up lethal turns. Okay, and then going second, we have this is why I think going second is the way to go with this deck. This Zoro, guys, what a nuisance. There's not a ton of removal, I feel like, in OP-14 that I've seen so far, at least not from the new leaders. So this card just kind of sticks on the board and just pesters your opponent the entire game. So if you can go second and slam this card down on, right on turn 2, well, you're off to the races. You're basically off to the races. You get to just smash in for 5 for the rest of the game, and then stand this card as active at the end of your turn. The on-play effect won't happen for us, but that doesn't really matter. It's just an extra attack our opponent has to deal with every single turn. That adds up very quickly. Okay, 2K counter Zoro. This is just a nice backup 2K counter. We're running 10 2K counters all together with 4 Kikinojo and 4 Human Drill. Then we're running 2 of this Zoro. Another card we can consider for a 2K counter that I really thought about was the Tashigi. There is a 3-cost 2K counter Tashigi that came out all the way back in OP-10. Most people know how this card works by now. Pause and read it otherwise. But this is an excellent 2K counter to run as well. And if you're to put it anywhere in this deck, I would say it probably is going to be good for replacing the Zoro if you want to do that. Okay. Then we have 5-cost Joribani. Probably can go down to 2 of these. We'll see what happens. I don't think we need a full play set of these. I'm only running 3, but I don't think we need 3 necessarily. This is a card you want to play out much later in the game. At least from my experience, playing this out later in the game is going to allow you to play it out for basically 1 Dawn, right? Because listen to what it says here. If you have 8 or more rested cards, draw 2 cards and trash 1 card from your hand, then set up to one of your Dawn cards as active. So what you're going to be able to do, let's just say you attack with your leader. That's 1 rested card. It's going to be 5 more rested Dawn just to play this card out. And then let's just say you attack in with 2 other characters. Well, that is 8 cards right there. That is 8 rested cards at that point. Or you could even, well, let's just use that example. Say it's 8 cards you have rested. You play out this Joribani, right? Okay. Well, that's going to allow you to set up to one of your Dawn cards is active from the on-play effect after doing the draw 2 trash one, and then you can rest something else down, maybe like a stage, and now you get 3 more Dawn as active. Now, you won't be able to play out a character after that. Remember the way this effect works, guys. You can't play out a character after you use the effect, but does that really matter? I don't think it actually matters all that much, because you just got 4 of your Dawn back as active, and now you can attack in with this character here. And hey, now that's starting to make me really think we should consider that event again. If we have 4 Dawn as active, we can go, okay, let's do a quick search for maybe whatever, search up whatever we might need to, and we can even make revisions based on what we need to search up with this. See, this makes me want to potentially include more of this Zoro, because it's a searchable 2K counter with this event if we choose to include it. But otherwise, we can leave Dawn open for this 1 cost 3K. It just gives us a lot of options. Draw 2, trash 1, just a really solid card for us. Okay, we talked about Perona, but this Tashigi, this card is solid, but it ended up not really being something I preferred playing. In fact, I think every time that I had a choice between playing this Tashigi and this Perona is almost always the correct decision, because you're developing a 5 cost 6K either way, and they're both 1K counters in hand. Now, yes, this card has KO or removal prevention, right? If this character would be removed from the field by your opponent's effect, you may rest 1 of your cards instead. That's a big deal. And then activate main once per turn, rest 2 of your cards to give this character plus 2,000 until the end of your opponent's next in phase. Very strong card. However, that does not interact with my opponent's side of the board. So if you're trying to have bodies stick on the board, this card can get around removal. So you might want to run this card. Yeah, or you might want to play this card out over the Perona, depending on the matchup. But generally speaking, I would rather develop a character that also hinders my opponent's side of the board. So this Perona comes down with tempo, right? You play this card out, you've got your 6K body on the board for what that's worth, and you just made it where 2 of your opponent's characters, potentially up to 2 of their characters, will not be able to attack next turn or even block on the turn you're on. That is a very big deal. This card is excellent. This card is excellent. Okay, we have Trafalgar Law here. I think I might have played this card 1 time in all my testing, so I might even go down to 2 of these and go +1 Shanks, okay? So speaking of that, pause and read this card if you don't already know what it does from OP-13. Now moving over to Shanks, okay? This card, on the other hand, I wanted to play this card down every single time I saw it, because notice what it does. First of all, it's a 7 cost 9K, okay? And then on your turn, when this character is rested, which we can do immediately with our leader's effect, when this character is rested, rest up to 1 of your opponent's characters with 7,000 base power or less. Do you guys understand that's practically any character they played on a 6 Dawn turn? Because if you're playing this out on curve on a 7 Dawn turn, that's practically any character they played last turn. It might not literally be any character, but the point is that's going to probably hit 95% of targets that get played on your standard, 6 Dawn turns. Because most people don't play out a 6 cost 8K. Okay, yes, they do exist, like Boa Hancock, but typically speaking, that's not what you end up seeing. Instead, you might see something like a Kuma, right? Like a 6 cost 7K Kuma or whatever. Well, this card says, okay, well, rest that down. That might not even matter, but the point is you can hit any target you need to, and now you're going to stand 3 Dawn as active with your leader's effect, and on your opponent's turn, if this character is rested, give all of your opponent's characters -1,000 power. Yeah, real strong, guys. Really, really powerful card here. You're going to see this card come up quite a bit in our testing today. Next up, we have 8 cost, 8,000 power blocker Mihawk. Just a solid, just a great card. And when you combo this effect with the Mihawk, that's going to basically turn this into a 1 cost card. Now, you won't be able to play any characters if you use this plus your leader's effect, but will that really matter all that much? Because maybe with that remaining 7 Dawn now, maybe you use 5 or 6 of it to just attack more aggressively into the board. You have an 8,000 power blocker, and then maybe leave 1 Dawn as active for a 1 cost 3K, and you're good to go. Really great card here. Okay, next up is the 9 cost Dracule Mihawk. 9 cost 10K on your turn. When this character is rested, up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 9 or less cannot be rested until the end of your opponent's next turn. Very strong, especially in Dracule Mihawk, but I have to say this, guys. In all my testing, I had a very similar situation with this card as I did with Trafalgar Law. The card has a ton of potential, but I found myself wanting to make more how do I say this? It was very hard for me to play this card out unless I was already in a winning position. That's what it felt like. We'll look at some games on the sim. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. But it's almost like, okay, the amount of, you know, how do I say this? The amount of tempo that this Perona and this Shanks gives me just playing them on curve and the way it interacts with the board was already massive enough. It typically meant that I didn't want to play this card out afterwards. But sometimes, I think it did come up in at least one of the games. But either way, the whole idea with this card is once you get this down and then maybe get down another one and you start attacking, you're just locking your opponent's board down, okay? Because this hits a 9 or less, okay? And they will not be able to rest until the end of your opponent's next turn, so they can't block or anything, whatever target you hit. And then we do have an on your opponent's attack effect here. Once per turn, trash a card. Up to one of your leader or character cards gains plus 2,000 power during this battle, okay? So that's just a solid additional effect there. Running 3 Dead Man's Game. I might go up to 4 of these. This is a Demonic Aura 9 Sword Style Asura Dead Man's Game. It's a 1 cost 3k for your leader. And then it is a 4 cost rest up to 2 of your opponent's characters or Dawn. It's like a Hody Jones style effect, but for 4 Dawn. And in this deck, it's actually better than Hody Jones, I would say, in some situations. Because paying 4 Dawn, we're going to get 3 of that back, right? We're actually going to get 3 of it back just by resting something like a stage or whatever. And then we can, and then we can go from there. Whereas with Hody Jones, we can't really like combo off by doing some type of effect and then playing out Hody Jones and then standing the Dawn up to play something else out. Well, I don't know. I guess you could. I guess there's Hody Jones is probably worth considering for sure, but I just think that this card's probably a little bit better. And this is searchable by our Perona, whereas Hody Jones would not be. But we'll have to see. We might have to make some adjustments later on, but I will say this card came in very clutch in one of my games. And then we have Coffin Boat that we already talked about. Okay, so that's it, guys. That's the whole breakdown of the deck. We're just trying to curve out. We're trying to tempo out. And the way that I was playing the deck is I'm trying to lock their board down with cards like Perona and hinder them with cards like Shanks, and then just make high-value attacks into my opponent's board and just get full board control and go from there. Going first versus second. Going first, we have an insanely powerful curve with Perona into Human Drill, into the 5 cost Perona, into 7 cost Shanks, into 9 cost Mihawk. That going first curve might be one of the strongest ones in the game currently, or at least in OP-14. Going second is not much worse. First of all, we can do anything we just said there and go from there, or we have the option to go on our turn 1, we can play out Perona or the stage, of course, and then or even Kashiro, and then turn 2, slam down Zoro into maybe Trafalgar Law. If we were able to get down a Perona on turn 1, we can cycle that out for a better card potentially, and then we go into an 8 Dawn Mihawk, into 10 Dawn, we can play out the 9 cost Mihawk. Okay, so that's about it, guys. That's enough yapping. Let's go ahead and head over to the sim and see this deck in action. All right, guys, first game up we have against Black-Yellow Koala. Okay, so let's make sure the volume is off. Let's get the speed on 2x, and we are good to go. Okay, so Black-Yellow Koala. That is a leader that I really enjoy playing, especially that color combo. It's basically my favorite. It is my favorite color combination in the game. I think Black-Yellow and Blue-Yellow are probably my favorite color combinations in the game. Okay, so turn 1, hang on, let me, excuse me, guys, let me get caught up here. So turn 1, they play out nothing. It looks like they played the Koala for the, or they drew the Koala for the turn. That's unfortunate for them, but they're going to play out the Searcher on their turn 2. Our turn 1, we're going second. We play out the Coffin Boat, and then we pass it back. Okay, so now, they're in their turn 2. They're just now playing out the Koala, which means they probably drew it for the turn, like I was saying, and they're going to swing for 7. We're going to go ahead and take that. Okay, we're on a 4 Dawn turn. We're going to play out this Zoro, and watch this, guys. This is where I was first learning, like, okay, I'll rest this card and stand my Dawn as active. Oh, wait. You have to have a character that costs 5 or more on the board. Okay, or excuse me, I think there just has to be a character with a cost of 5 or more on the board to get that effect. Okay, so we swing in for 5. The Zoro stands up in a turn anyway. Didn't really matter. Okay, they play out a hack here, so I'm going to attack in for 5. Do they want to give me this hack right here? We'll see. They choose to 1k counter out. And now I think what I want to do here... Now, this Perona, remember how much I hyped up the Perona in the deck breakdown? It's really not that great in this matchup. So we're going to swing for 7. I was expecting him to use hack here. He chooses not to. So, guys, right here, yeah, I'm just going to slam down a Zoro. And I've got a real treat for this guy next turn on the 8 Dawn turn, right? We stand up both Zoros in a turn, and then our Coffin Boat lets us stand up a Dawn at the end of turn as well. They play out a Nico Robin. We're going to trash our 2K counter Zoro and a 9-cost Mihawk. They're going to swing for 5 with their leader. They get to draw a card from that. Seems good. We're going to 1K counter out with Perona because, like I said, guys, Perona in this matchup, I hyped it up big time in the deck list breakdown. But, yeah, it's not nearly as good in this specific matchup, unfortunately. Okay, I play out Shanks. I rest down the Shanks with my leader effect. Resting down the Hack with the Shanks effect. I get 3 Dawn as active, and now we're just going to poke in for 6, 6, 7. Okay. Now, remember, guys, we can't play out, excuse me, we can't play out our Perona this turn now that we've done the effect of the Shanks. Maybe we should have played out the Perona first, and look, I noticed that now. This was my first time playing, you know, this version of the deck. I'm still learning. I have messed with the leader before, but, you know, like I said, I was still learning a little bit of stuff with it. So they swing in for 5. We're going to just 1K. Actually, we might even take Rets for life. We decide to counter out of that. Probably not the worst idea. They play out a Kaido, getting rid of my Shanks. I have to trash a card now as well. I get rid of the Human Drill. They swing for 5. I take it. I'm down to 3 life. I think they should have swung in with the Nico Robin personally. But hey, you know, it's their choice. We play out the 9-cost Mihawk. That makes us lose a life with Koala's effect. We're going to rest down the Mihawk with our Mihawk. Standing 3 Dawn is active and making it where the Kaido cannot attack or block next turn. You know, until next turn. And now we're going to swing for 6. And then 6. And then 6 again, guys. It might even be 7 this time. Okay, so swing 6, swing 6. Let's see what they do here. If they counter out, we might even attack into the Hack. We'll see what happens. Okay, just waiting to see if they want to block with the Robin. Okay, well now we might even choose to go into the Hack here, unfortunately. And they'll probably let this go and get rid of my Zoro. That was the right call, though. I have to slow them down. I could actually lose the game this turn, potentially. Because they could swing in aggressively with, like, their 1-cost Koala if I'm not careful with what I counter out of. Okay, but we do have that Mihawk on the board, and that did lock down their Kaido. They cannot attack with Kaido this turn, guys. We locked that down with our 9-cost Mihawk. Okay, here we go. They're on a 10 Dawn turn. We are in 2x speed, guys. We're just waiting for them to make a decision. They are in a very tough position. They're going to need all their time here in order to figure out what the right play is. They attack in for 5. We could trash a card to go plus 2,000, but we're just going to use a 1K. Okay, and here we go. Let's see what they choose to do now with 10 Dawn. Do they want to attack in with the Nico Robin? They play out a blocker Hiyori and a Koala. Okay, well that complicates things, I'd say. Right, I would say that definitely complicates things. Now, what are we going to do in this situation here? I really don't want to have to deal with that Hiyori, so we might have to actually play out either a Human Drill here or the Perona to lock that down. So let's see. Notice I'm taking a long time, guys. I usually play pretty quickly, not to play sloppy or anything, but I usually have quite a bit in my head of what I want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and play out the Perona here and keep the 2K counter in my hand. I just locked down. Their Hiyori cannot block now. They cannot rest until the end of their next turn there. And now we're going to be able to stand up 3 Dawn with the Coffin Boat, resting that with our leader's effect. And now I'm going to try to get pretty aggressive here. I'm going to swing for 9, 9, 10. This is probably going to take all the cards in their hand and their blocker. And remember, guys, when I attack with the Mihawk, I will be able to lock down their Kaido. I probably should have swung with that first just in case to play around any kind of potential events, because I'm not sure if they can play You'll Frighten Me. I can't remember if that's leader locked or not, but if they had You'll Frighten Me, I would have probably lost this game. Let's just call it for what it is. Okay, so we're going to swing for 9 into 5. Let's see what they choose to do here. They really need to counter out of this one. Yeah, they're going to do that. And now I'm going to swing in for 10. This will probably eat up the blocker. And now they can't attack with anything on their board except their leader and the 4-cost Koala character. Okay, here we go. What are they going to do here? I don't think they can really go for lethal. We have 2 life. They only have the 2 characters on the board, or the 2 attacks on the board. They're going to swing for 5. Right here, I probably need to use the effect of Mihawk to trash this 6-cost Trafalgar Law to get out of this attack. We take it instead. Okay, that's not a bad idea either, because next turn we are all in. We can't just hang on forever. We don't have the ability. They're going to swing in for 5. We might just take it now. I don't know. Okay, now I use the effect. I don't know what I'm doing anymore, guys. New player. Bear with me, new player. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, here we go, guys. We end up drawing a dead man's game. Okay, I'll rest those 2 Hioris, and now I'll play out Human Drill. I'll rest the Human Drill to stand up 3 Dawn and rest your other Hiyori, and now we're coming in for oodles. I was about to attach all my Dawn to the Mihawk. We were going to swing for 10 plus 6. It was going to be a 16k attack. They only had a 1k, a 1k. They only had 3k counter in hand altogether. So yeah, hey, the amount of ways we had to lock them down. One of those Hioris they had on the board for 2 turns, they couldn't block with it. And then he played the other 2 the next turn trying to survive. And we said, hey, you know what? I guess I'll just rest all of them down. I'll pay the equivalent of about 4 Dawn, right? And then I'll play out, because of Human Drill and the leader interaction, we were able to get 3 Dawn back from that. So that was basically just free. And then we paid 4 for the actual event Dead Man's game. Good game to my opponent. Very good game to my opponent. I really like seeing Black Yellow Koala. Very interesting ideas I'm seeing here. But I don't know about the 9-cost Kaido. That might be a little bit too ambitious. We'll have to see. Because I do know that it is good to attack your opponent's hand. But I think the 6-cost Nico Robin is all that's needed, because instead of playing out a 9-cost Kaido, notice they were on a 10 Dawn turn last turn. It would have been nice if they could have played out the 8-cost Dragon, cheating out a 6-cost Nico Robin, hitting 2 cards from their hand, and then they have a blocker. It ends up being roughly the same as the Kaido, to be fair, but you get 2 bodies instead of just 1, because the Kaido removes an attack, whereas the Nico Robin just blocks an attack, right? So it's a similar amount of value, but I still think that's kind of all that Koala needs. I don't know. I'm just kind of brainstorming now. I really want to mess around with Koala again, maybe try some of the new cards in there, but that's for another video. Okay, good game to my opponent. Let's move on to the next one. Now we have a game versus Trafalgar Law. Let's get the speed up to 2x, volumes off. Here we go. Okay, so I think they chose to go first, by the way. I think I won 2 dice rolls in today's games, and I chose to go second both times. And then someone else had a dice roll they beat me with, and they chose to go first. So I think we're going to be going second every game in today's videos. Or every game in today's video. So we're going to swing for 6 and a 5. We're a 6,000 power leader against Trafalgar Law, because he's a slash-type leader. Okay, so we're going to play out the 4-cost Zoro. Guys, I'm just going to spoil it. That Zoro carries me. Just being able to have that card down, either they have to invest in some way to get rid of it, or I just get 1 extra card out of their hand or life every single turn. Okay, so they swing in for 7. We're going to 2k counter out of that because we're a 6,000 power leader. Seems good. Okay, right here. All right, I get to swing for 5 for free into the Cavendish. That card's gone. And now we're probably going to develop this TCG this turn. Unfortunately, we didn't have a 1 or 2 drop to play out earlier on, so we can't really use our Trafalgar Law, our blocker. Okay, so we play out the TCG, and then we stand some Dawn as active because we had 1 Dawn left to stand 3 up. So, guys, did y'all see what we did there? Remember, you can rest any card with your leader's effect to stand 3 Dawn as active. So what we did right there is we played out the TCG for 5 when we had 6 Dawn. Now watch this. We click on our leader. We tap 1 Dawn to stand 3 as active. Okay, so 1 Dawn became 3 Dawn. We smash in for 8 into 5. I leave 1 Dawn as active. You know, it is what it is. We probably would not use that 1-cost event in this situation, but who knows? If he plays out something aggressive enough this turn, maybe we will. Okay, 6 into 6. We're going to go ahead and take that because we literally don't have any counters in hand. They go 6 into 8. Okay, well, I think that maybe it's a good thing we left that 1 Dawn as active. So now we're going to cash in on that Dead Man's game to get out of that attack. I don't want to go too low too early on here. All right, 8 Dawn turn. Time to play Shanks. That's all I'm going to say. Guys, this Shanks card is insane. We play that out, we rest it, we stand 3 Dawn, we rest down one of their characters, we rest down the Uruj, and now we just get to attack into their board. We're going to go 5 into 2. You want to save it? He does not. And now we can go 7 into 7 if we want to. We're going to play out the Coffin Boat, which gets us to another Coffin Boat. We're going to rest the Coffin Boat and one of our Dawn here. Actually, we might just swing for 7 first, but that's what we're going to do next. So we swing for 7. That's going to take a card from their hand. And now we're going to rest. We're going to play out another Coffin Boat to just cycle through. And we're going to rest the Coffin Boat and a Dawn to make our TCG an 8,000 power character until the start of our next turn, or until the end of our opponent's next turn, or however it's worded. Okay, well, they have a 1K and a 6K on their board. and then, of course, their leader, and we're a 6,000 power leader. And we have an 8K and a 9K sideways on the board. So we're in a very good position. And we did get to Stanodon as active with our stage, which was nice. Okay, guys, this is the turn, or this is the game where I really did not want to see all of these bricks in my hand. This is just unfortunate. We'll have to do a count later on to see how many bricks we're running in the deck, because I think we might have too many. Okay, it looks like they're going to swing 7 into 6 to start this attack off. Yep, and I think we should 2K counter out. Because, guys, we just don't... I mean, we could take this one to get out of the next one to protect our board, and that's what we're going to do here. I was concerned that they were going to go for my board with that power reduction from the X-Drake. Okay, so they attack in. We give them a 2K counter. They attack in for 8. We're just going to have to take this one. But here we go, guys. We are starting to get to the late game. We're starting to get to the point where we can stabilize. Okay, 5 into 2. That's completely free, guys. Now we're going to go 9 into 7, resting down the Bartolomeo with the effect of the Shanks. Just attacking allows us to rest a character. Okay, so they use a 1-cost 4K to get out of that. We're going to go 6 into 2. That card's gone for sure, right? And now we're going to be able to... I'm considering what I want to do here. I'm concerned about him attacking through with some, I don't have any counter. I have 3K counter in hand, guys. I have to play a blocker. If he plays one rush card, I just lose. So I play out the Dracule Mihawk, and from here, we stand some Dawn as active, and we're going to go 12 into 7, hoping we can get past this. We leave 1 Dawn as active. We probably should have swung with all of it because I get to stand a Dawn as active with Coffin Boat at the end of our turn. Slight play mistake there, and it could have costed us. Okay, they're going to go 6 into 8. Well, we're going to gladly 1K counter out of that, guys. That was a close one. Now they're going to go 9 into 6. Okay, you're going to go 9 into 6. What are, let's see, I think we choose to take this one, and now we're going to go for lethal here, guys. They're going to go 9 into, I don't know, hang on. Let me pause this for a second. Why didn't they, oh, I think it's a Dawn times 1 effect. I was going to say, why didn't they reduce the power of my Mihawk? They literally didn't have any Dawn. Okay, well, here we go, guys. We're going to start off with a 7K. That's going through for sure. Now we're coming in for a 9K. That's going through for sure. And now we're going in for a 9K. Okay, I'm trying to get him to use the effect of Trafalgar Law so we can just close this game out. He used it. He trashed 2 cards from hand, uses Trafalgar Law. Now he's swinging for 7K. We don't even have to use the effect of the TCG. There's no point. We'll swing in for 7. It's calculated. Yeah, at that point, so we swing in for 7K, right? And then after that, I mean, they only had the 1 card in hand, so they can only get to 5K. Or, excuse me, to 7K. Then we attach 3 Dawn to our leader. We swing for 9, and it's just game over. So... good game to our opponent there, and that was with... I don't think that game actually should have been that close, but we had so many bricks in our hand, it was not looking good for us from there. But hey, like I said, we'll have to look at the ratios after these games. Okay, good game to my opponent. We got one more game to check out. We got a game versus Purple-Yellow Rosinante. That's right, guys. Volume is off. Let's get the speed on 2x. And I've heard the murmurs, I've heard the rumors on the street, people saying that Rosinante might be decent now. It's gotten some decent support since EB03. And maybe it has. Maybe it's gotten pretty good, guys. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. I just know when I played this leader, I thought, man, this leader's getting somewhere. It's getting kind of decent. Okay, so I think this is the game they chose to go first, by the way. Maybe I won the first 2 dice rolls, and this guy went first, and this guy may have chosen to go first. Okay, they play out 2 searchers on turn 1 and 2 for them. We're on turn 2. Guess who it is? Good old Faithful. We got old Faithful here, Zorro, holding it down for us, just getting in value after value after value. He's just so nice, guys. Okay, so we get to Santa Dawn is active with our stage. They go on searcher number 3. They're swinging for 6 into 5. We're probably going to 2K out of this because we have a lot of we have 3 2K counters in hand. We're going to 2K counter out. They use their leader effect to Dawn -1 to play out a card, one of their Trafalgar Laws for, I think it's like 2 less. Okay, and now we just have to swing for 6 every time if we can. All right, so in this situation here, I can't really do all that much with my 6-cost Trafalgar Law. I would rather combo that later with like a 1-cost searcher of some sort. So we're going to play a little bit greedy here. We're going to swing 5. They counter out. They countered out a 1, I think, and blocked out the other. We're going to play out the other Zorro. We're going to play out the Kashiro. We're going to stand it right here. Yeah, this is where I definitely messed up, guys. Oh, no, excuse me. I couldn't stand a Dawn as active. I couldn't stand any Dawn as active because they had a, none of us had a 5-cost character on the board. Okay, so that does make the other play a little bit better now after thinking about it. I probably could have played out the Trafalgar Law just to bounce my Zorro to replay the Zorro. Okay, but that's not a big deal. So they're going to swing in for 5. We're going to take it. They play out the 8 cost Trafalgar Law for 6 Dawn from the leader effect. We're going to 2k counter out of that. They're going to go ahead and use the effect of that law to play out another law and gain a life. But they're down to 4 cards in hand. And we are going up to 6 and now 7 cards in hand. And watch this, guys. Now we're going to start really making some plays here. We are going to play out the Shanks, probably my favorite card in the deck. The 4 cost Zoro and the 7 cost Shanks and the 5 cost Perona, they are strong, guys. They are really strong. So we're going to go 6 and a 6 to start this turn off. They take it, but they use the effect of the Rosinante to save it by taking a life card to protect a Trafalgar Law. We'll go 6 more into it, and now we're going to go 7 into 6. Let's see if he has another 2k counter. Okay, just waiting for my opponent. That is a card that I saw them draw from earlier, that 2k counter Trafalgar Law, so I'm hoping he has none left. 1k, 1k. That is brutal, guys. That is brutal. We stand all of our Zoros as active. We stand our we use our Coffin Boat to stand a Dawn as active. And we don't have any events in our hand, but hey, he doesn't know that. He's going to start with a 6k attack, and we're going to 2k counter out. Okay, now he's going to Dawn -1, pay 5, and play out Trafalgar Law. This can let him gain a life, but he might not have any targets in hand to gain a life with. He only has 2 cards in his hand, guys. He's going to swing in for 5 here, and we're going to 1k counter out. And he should attack in with the Trafalgar Law. Let's talk about that for a second. Him not attacking there kind of messed up my entire turn, if I'm being honest with you guys. I thought he was going to swing in with Trafalgar Law, the 6 cost 7k, or just not swing at all, which would have been fine as well. And I was going to block with Kashiro. And then this turn, I was going to play out the Perona and play out the Trafalgar Law, bouncing things around and getting a lot of value in that way. For a 7 Dawn play, it ends up just being like a 4 Dawn play that lets me draw twice and fix things up and cheat cards out. But now I have 4 characters on the board, and I don't want to replace any of them. Like I said, I was hoping just to block with the Kashiro on his 7k attack, but now I don't just want to throw the character away. So what ends up happening here, this is why he should have attacked with the Trafalgar Law. I'm just going to attack 9 into 6 and rest down the Law anyway. So I'm going to swing 9 into 6. They're going to use leader effect to protect the character. We're just going to go 6 into 6, guys. Do you see where this is going? I'm just going to keep eating up his hand. Now we're going to go 7 into 7. I saw my leader attack. He lets it go. Okay. Well, now, like I said, guys, I don't want to play out the Perona over what's on the board with the 6 cost Trafalgar Law. Probably should have. I don't know. Either way, we're fine. We're in a situation where I feel like we're in the driver's seat this game. So we're just going to smash in for 7. They take it. We're going to play out a second blocker. Guys, we have 4k counter in hand, 2 life, 2 blockers, and we want to use both blockers this turn. They're going to swing for 7, auto block. They're going to play out the Trafalgar Law. Now, that one we're probably going to 1k counter out of course, because, they still have another attack for the turn. They're going to gain a life with that by trashing the Gamma Knife, and then they're going to play out a Trafalgar Law from their hand. Now they're going to go 8. We're going to block out no matter where it went, and now we have 2 spots open on the board. But they're at 2 life, and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm just going to completely demolish this hand. This guy's poor hand is going to go bye-bye. So we play out the Perona here. We grab, okay, then we find the Dracule Mihawk. That changes everything. Now we're going to have a whole nother turn where I can't play out the Trafalgar Law. And that's kind of the position I found myself in. Was like, man, the 6 cost Law seemed really good. But it ended up being just a dead card in my hand every single game, guys. I mean, literally every single game. But hey, it is what it is. Okay, they use a 0 cost 3k to get out of that. All right, 6 more into it. Give me your last card. Nope, they let it go. And now we're just not going to attack. We're going to pass, stand everything as active that we can. Your turn. Now they're in top deck mode. We're not going to attack into their last life here. They can't even attack with their Trafalgar Law. We have 2 Dawn open. We have 2 life. They played out both these cards, and they're just going to concede, guys. The game's over. They can swing wherever they want to. It doesn't even matter. We're just going to take it and pause. They pass the turn and just concede. There's nothing they can do, right? They're completely locked down at this point. They have a board, but they're a 6,000 power leader, but they have 1 card in hand, and they only have 1 life. They have no blocker, so we can literally just go swing 6, swing 6, swing 6, swing 9, swing 10. They wouldn't even be able to survive the second 6, right? Because if we swing for the first 6, they have to take it. They have no counter in hand. We swing for the next 6, they have to counter out. We swing for the third one, and it's game over. So good game to my opponent, and good game to all my opponents. These were really fun, really cool games here. They found themselves in a very tough position. I think purple-yellow Rosinante's getting there, but I still think it's not there just yet. Maybe we just haven't found the correct build just yet. Okay, good game to my opponents. That was a lot of fun. Let's check out this deck list one more time. So yeah, guys, I have to say, if I'm going to keep this card in the deck, and I'm not saying we shouldn't, but if I'm going to keep this card in the deck, I'm probably going to go down to 2 of them. I just found myself not playing it very often. I only have one meaningful 5-drop to play out that can give me some crazy tempo, and it's Perona. So I think we're just going to run with 2 of these Trafalgar Laws. I think we're also going to go -1 of these Mihawks. I definitely want to go +1 of the Dead Man's Game. That is the very first order of business, is going up to 4 of those. We have 1 left here. I think -1 of this, this Bonnie. And at this point here, guys, y'all might think I'm crazy, but I really want to go up like maybe a few of these We Are, just for extra searching. And I think I even want to go -2 of this Kikanojo, as crazy as that sounds, because I want to put in another 2K counter in the place of the 2 that I removed, in the form of the 3-cost Tashigi. Or we could even go up more of these Zoros now that we have this We Are effect in the, or this We Are Searcher event. But we'll have to see. We don't necessarily have to do that. But whatever the case is, this is what I was thinking of going, was 2 of these Tashigis, just as some extra layers of protection against any deck that's trying to run blue, or something like that. We can protect our board better if they have red rocks or grab blades or whatever it might be. So maybe even going up to 3 of those. I don't know. It's hard to say. This card is searchable, at least. This one is not. And even with this event here, it would not be searchable. We'll have to see. But see, actually, the more I think about it, we would want more of these in case we search over it. So that might be the way we have to do that. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. But another card that I want to add to here. Let me go back for a second. Let me just load in the standard deck that I was running today. -1 of this Mihawk here, and -1 of this Trafalgar Law, for a +1 of Dead Man's Game, and +1 of the 7-cost Shanks. This is probably the very first thing I would want to do. We go down 1 brick for 1 more 1-cost 3K, and we go down a 6-cost for a 7-cost. This is probably the immediate revisions I would make to the deck. But I would, like I said, guys, I would really like to see maybe some way to add the We Are event. I just think that. Let me just type in, is it We? Yeah, or let me just type in R. Would that work? Yeah, that works better where it's just that one. I would like to try to make this work in the deck. Now, let's check the ratios, because this is something I wanted to look at earlier. So we're running 2 Trafalgar Law, 2 Mihawk, 2 Mihawks. That's 6, plus 4 is 10. And then we have 4 more over here for the event, or for the stage, rather. So we do have 14 bricks in the deck. That's not crazy. That's actually not insane. Maybe we go down 1 coffin boat. Maybe we just run 3 of these coffin boats, and now we're down to 13 bricks. And from there, we can do, maybe move some cards around. Because I will say this, guys, as long as we have a 1-cost play for going first, we have 4 Peronas. That's our primary go-to turn 1 play, and then I think it's Coffin Boat. I would actually rather play Coffin Boat later down the road. I'd rather play out my Perona first and search up what I need to. And see, that's where, man, I'd really like to fit a few of these events, and maybe we'll run 2 of these guys. I don't know. Maybe we'll go, see if I go -1 of this Bonnie and go +1 of this, then I get the amount of, then we go back up to 14 bricks. We'll have to see, guys. Tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Maybe we don't need to run 4 of this card. Maybe just 2 is fine. But I will say I think this card could be very good in here. And maybe it's this Trafalgar Law. I'm holding on to this card for some reason. I don't know why, guys. Maybe I shouldn't hold on to this card. Maybe I should go -2 of that Trafalgar Law and just go up the Coffin Boat. Well, excuse me, go up 1 of these We Are and go up, or even go up to 4. Maybe go up to 4 of them and go from there. But we could also, like I said, go up the Coffin Boat as well. Okay. Something like that. This is kind of where my mind's at right now. This is at least where, you know, where my mind's going. Another option, this is a Muggy Kingdom. I wonder, and this is, of course, Mihawk. We do have the option for the other Perona, the green 2K counter Perona. No, excuse me. This only searches up Thriller Bark and Mihawk. So, yes, we would be able to search up, like, our Mihawk stuff. But, nah, this Perona is just strictly better, I think. I think it's just strictly better. I don't know. You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. I would like to mess around with this card, but I don't think we can. I don't think there's enough room in the deck. I think the better call is to just do what we had right here, where we go +2 of the 6 cost. Where did he go? This guy right here, and then maybe +1 of the Bonnie. Let me find that card. Or we could go +1 to Shigi. It's up to you. I like to play a little bit more defensively at times. I don't know. Sometimes I like to play pretty aggressive, but I think this card's a little bit better in this deck than the Tashigi. I have to say this card too was not really. I didn't love this card. This card really was not. How do I say it? This card didn't jump out to me as like the most valuable card in the deck. At least not the way that I was playing it against the decks I was playing against. Who knows, against some other different decks, this card might be insane. Any deck that has removal, this card's really insane. But it wasn't really jumping out of my hand like play me, play me, play me in the same way that this Zoro, this Perona, and this Shanks was. Shanks and Perona hitting this curve is just, it's disgusting. Going, okay, Perona, lock down whatever you played on the previous turns, and then Shanks, now it's all being hindered. That, for me, was kind of like my go-to. That was my bread and butter in my testing, where it's like, yeah, if I can hit that right there, then maybe I can curve into a 9-cost Dracule Mihawk and be able to, you know, capitalize on that. This Mihawk was pretty nice, I have to say. Being able to play this out and get a bunch of Dawn as active and do other stuff from there, that was very nice. And it is yet another thing that I will say, okay, actually, this card says, then you may play a character with an original cost of 7. You cannot play a character with an original cost of 7 or more. So yeah, maybe that's a play I should try to go for in the future, is like on a 10 Dawn turn, maybe we play out this Dracule Mihawk for 10. Or for 8, right? And then we get 4 Dawn back. If we have 6 Dawn, we can play out the the Trafalgar Law, pulling back the 1-cost Perona to play something else out, and then we can stand 3 Dawn as active and go from there with our Leader's Effect and do whatever we have to. Maybe that's a play I should try to, you know, hook up in the late game, but I don't know. That might require a good deal of setup. And then that's going to be a very dead turn where we don't really have much interaction going on. But I do still like having quite a few blockers. Like, I want to have access to at least like 5 or 6 blockers in the deck, and we do. We have 2 Trafalgar Laws, 2 Mihawk, 4 Kishiro, and then worst case scenario 2 Zoro, and then 3 of this Bonnie. So we actually have 13 blockers in the deck. Maybe we can go -1 of this Bonnie here to go +1 Mihawk, or -1 of this Coffin Boat to go +1 Mihawk. We'll have to see. I will say this stage was nice, but I never really was struggling to have something that I needed to rest for the turn. Like, what I'm trying to say is this. I don't even know if I need this card in the deck. The Standing at Dawn is active on at the end of my turn is not bad, and the way this replaces itself is not bad. It is good as like an early on play, but I don't know, guys. I would almost, you know, I always want to play Perona, right? First of all, I just always want to play Perona out, and then what I want to do from there is I want to play a character. I don't want to play my stage out and then rest that. I'd rather play out a character like this Zoro here, rest this card down, stand 3 Dawn as active, and then go from there. I don't want to waste any Dawn on playing the stage out, even though it does cycle. So again, it's not that this is a bad card. It does cycle, but I am starting to wonder, maybe this is the card I could swap out to mess around with the 2-cost event, the We Are event. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. I'm very curious to know what you guys have to say. How strong is this stage in your guys' experience? Because for me personally, that end of your turn 1 Dawn, it was nice in some situations. Like, I think there was one game where it was really good. There was one game where I messed it up, right? I forgot that it even happened. But yeah, I feel like with the way that this deck is built, there's only 2 effects in my entire deck that can even capitalize on that end of your turn Dawn. And that is, of course, my 1-cost 3K and then my Perona. Right, this Perona has on KO, you may rest one of your cards and play up to 1 green character card with a cost of 5 or less from your hand. Well, okay, if that's the case, then if I know that I need 1 Dawn as active, well, I know I'll always have at least 3 Dawn active when I start doing my effects with my Dracule Mihawk leader. So, as crazy as it might sound, guys, is I don't know if I want to keep this boat in the future. I could see myself going down like -2 of these coffin boats to put in 2 of the searcher events, and then going down -2 more of these coffin boats to go like +1 of this TCG, Trafalgar Law, and maybe +1 of this TCG, or +1 of this Bonnie, or something along those lines. Maybe get some more counters in the deck. I don't know. Or maybe even some actual 1-cost events. And that's the real beauty of how Dracule Mihawk's effects work, or his leader effect works, is I just don't need the stage, right? I actually don't need the card. At least I feel like I don't. Again, tell me if you guys think I'm crazy in the comment section below. Just please be respectful. But I have a feeling that like I would rather just rest whatever character I pulled out for the turn. Because think about it, what's the character I would have played out for the turn? You know, okay, turn 1 you can't do anything. Turn 2 you can't do anything either because there's no 5-cost characters on the board. Well, then going into your turn 3, where you get down to your 5 or 6-cost characters. Okay, well, with our 5-cost character, we could play out this Perona. And again, we don't really mind playing this out because we lock down their board anyway. And then if we rest this card down to stand 3 Dawn as active, do they want to attack into this? Because it's a 6,000 power character, and if they KO it, they don't know what I might pull out, right? I could play out this TCG or this Bonnie or whatever, okay? Because I just have to rest a Dawn to do it. Okay, then we get into our 7 Dawn turn. Well, I'm going to tap this card down immediately, right? I don't ever need the stage after my 5 Dawn turn. And maybe that's what I'm trying to say, guys. We're trying to brainstorm here. We're trying to think outside the box. Do we even need the Coffin Boat stage? Again, if we're just trying to get a card that stands us up a Dawn at the end of our turn, well, we actually have access to stuff like that, right? We actually have access to something like the, well, actually, I was going to say the 3-cost Jory Bonnie, but that might be if your leader's Supernova only. No, it's not. No, it's not. Just kidding. False alarm there. This card right here, set up to one of your Dawn cards is active on your opponent's turn. It's a 3-cost, 3K, 1K counter blocker. And then, of course, we had Uruj. That card's been out for quite some time. I don't think that card's leader locked. We also even have this Uda. This Uda's kind of interesting because they can cheat out stuff, and it can set up to 2 of your Dawn cards as active and go from there. And this could play in perfectly with our event idea, like our, using our event and whatnot. But this is a very cool idea here. Playing this out, resting this down if we need to, if they have a 5-cost, or if either of us have a 5-cost or higher character, rest this down. If you want to KO this, I'm going to cheat out a card instead, an even bigger card, right? Excuse me, and the on play gives me the Dawn. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I'm going to be honest. Part of me is thinking that this card is not what we even need in the deck. It is nice to just cycle through a card for 1 Dawn. That's almost the only perk to it, guys, because I only have the one. I have the 2 effects I need to have Dawn up for the end of my turn for, and it's this Dead Man's Game and the Perona potentially if it gets KO'd. But that's it. So I don't know, guys. I'm going to have to really think about that. But I was going to say we have Uruj if we're just trying to stand stuff as active at the end of the turn. There's probably quite a few more that I can't think of off the top of my head. I mean, even something crazy like this this Monkey D. Luffy. If we play this out for 6, we get 4 Dawn as active, and now we just can't play out a character that costs 5 or more, and we can just go from here. So we have some options. I will say this. I don't think we're even close to having this leader figured out just yet. But I do think what you see on the screen here, and whatever you've seen from players in the East, I do think this leader is still very solid. But there might be some really interesting things we could do with this leader moving forward. I don't think we've discovered just yet. All right, guys, I'm done. Hope you all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me get the outro on here. Okay, there we go. Okay, guys, if you are liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing my stuff, or using my TCG Player affiliate link, you're helping me out big time. I really appreciate that. If you're donating through Patreon or PayPal, if you're a Playmat supporter, a YouTube member, or part of the Discord community, I really appreciate you too. You're helping me out big time as well. This community's been incredible. All right, I'm done, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed. Till next time, peace.